There's been a lot of noise lately about the Buffalo Bills secondary, and the big question on everyone's mind is, has it really been that bad? Well, when you start digging into the film and comparing it with the expectations set for these players, the picture gets a lot more complicated than just stats and box scores. Let's start with Taylor Rapp, because he's been one of the more frustrating stories in this defense. Coming into the season, his reputation was pretty clear: physical tackler, smart angles, consistent in run support. But what we've seen so far, a completely different version. Missed tackles have skyrocketed, and worse, it's not just whiffing, it's the angles he's taking. He's either too soft on the pursuit or just misjudging where the ball carrier is headed. Add to that some serious hesitation in coverage, and you've got a player who's constantly arriving a half-second late. It doesn't seem like he's trusting his instincts or playing with confidence. For someone who was supposed to be a reliable veteran piece in the secondary, he's under-delivering big time. Now, contrast that with Cole Bishop, the rookie who wasn't even expected to carry a heavy load this early in the season. But week by week, he's growing into the role. He's triggering downhill fast, he's laying some real hits, and more importantly, he's making plays that matter, like that interception against the Saints. The dude is showing a level of comfort that's impressive for a first-year player. It's clear that he's the one guy in this secondary that's trending upward, even if he's still learning on the fly. He's making a case to be considered a long-term piece, not just a fill-in. Then there's Tre'Davious White. This one hurts. He's a fan favorite, a cornerstone of the defense in past years. But the truth is, he's limited now. That burst, that athletic pop he used to have, it's just not there anymore. He's smart. He understands leverage. He can still make some tackles in space, but the dynamic playmaker version of Trey is gone. And it's not just a sudden drop-off. It's a combination of past injuries and the natural, where that comes with age. He wasn't a top-tier athlete coming out of college, and after multiple setbacks, he's just not able to match up with elite receivers like he used to. It's not about effort. It's just about physical ceiling. And the scary part is that he's being asked to play a bigger role than maybe he should. This wasn't the plan. The Bills drafted Maxwell Hairston in the first round. They were grooming Dorian Strong, who's now out with a concerning neck injury, and now Trey's being leaned on more heavily than intended. It's a tough situation, and while he's probably giving everything he has, it just doesn't seem like enough when matched up against top-tier wideouts. Christian Benford is another player that's been underwhelming this year. What's frustrating about Benford is that we've seen him do better. His tackling and run support, still really strong. But in coverage, he's just not executing at the level we've come to expect. He's always been a technician, do-your-job type of guy, but when the rest of the secondary is shaky, it really exposes him. He relies on structure, on guys being where they're supposed to be. And when that's missing, even a solid technician starts to look out of place. He's not without blame, but it feels like the instability around him is dragging him down as well. And let's talk about Taron Johnson. He's not playing at his best either. There were hopes that a more versatile defensive look would help. And it's true that the Bills have leaned into more base defense. 20 snaps last week alone, but Johnson hasn't been that must-keep on the field guy lately. Whether it's missed tackles or lapses in coverage, the impact plays we saw in previous seasons just haven't shown up this year. Last year, even when he had some rough reps, he made game-changing plays that masked the inconsistency. This year, not so much. He's under his own standard, and that's another piece of the puzzle. So, yeah, when you step back and assess the whole secondary, it's hard to find positives outside of Cole Bishop. Trey White is playing to what's expected now, but that expectation is already diminished. Everyone else, Benford, Rapp, Taron, they're all below where they should be. And still, despite all this, the Bills are ranked 11th in EPA per pass and have given up the 5th fewest yards per pass play. That's wild, right? Statistically, it's not a disaster. But watching the tape, it feels like a disaster. It's one of those weird cases where the numbers say one thing, but your eyes say another. EPA is great because it factors in game context, field position, score, timing, but maybe the Bills have just had some luck in key moments or haven't yet paid the full price for these breakdowns. That might change real soon if things don't tighten up. Looking forward, there's a lot riding on what happens after the bye. Injuries are starting to clear up, at least a little, and all eyes are on Maxwell Hairston. The question is, how fast can you get a rookie up to speed after being out of practice since late July? That's a tall order. You can't just throw him into the fire without putting him in position to succeed. No joint practices, no preseason, and barely any live reps since training camp. If they want to get him involved, platooning him with Trey White might be the move. Rotate him in for a few series here and there, build his confidence, then ramp up the usage if he holds his own. It's a risky play, but if it works, it could help elevate this entire group. The bigger issue is that this secondary was built to be deeper and more dynamic, and now it's just kind of patching holes. Dorian Strong's neck injury sounds serious, and when the coach says nothing is off the table in terms of severity, you start thinking beyond just weeks missed. You worry about long-term implications, even career-threatening ones. That's the brutal side of football no one likes to talk about, but it matters when you're trying to understand the state of this defense. And then there's the trade deadline coming up. Do the Bills look for help outside? It's possible. There are names floating around, veterans who could step in and bring stability, especially at safety or corner. Whether it's a one-year rental or a depth move, it wouldn't be shocking if Buffalo pulled the trigger on something. They've done it before. This team knows its window is now, and they won't want to waste it because of a shaky secondary. All that said, it's not time to panic yet, but we're getting close to the point where this team needs its defense to step up. Josh Allen can't do it alone, and if the secondary keeps underperforming, it's going to catch up with them. You can only hold off explosive offenses for so long before cracks start to break wide open. The pieces are there. The question is, can they finally play up to the level this team needs? So where do the Bills go from here? That's the million-dollar question. Because while the stats might not scream disaster, the eye test is waving red flags all over the field. And with every week that goes by, the margin for error gets thinner. Buffalo has been hanging in games thanks to timely plays and the offense bailing them out. But that can't be the formula moving forward. Not in a loaded AFC. Not if you're trying to make a deep playoff run. The defense has to start holding its own, especially the back end. And here's the thing. We've seen these guys play better. Taylor Rapp wasn't always this hesitant. Benford had moments last year where he looked like a rising starter. Taron Johnson has made clutch plays in key situations. So the talent's not the issue. What's missing is rhythm, confidence, cohesion. And that's what makes this whole situation so frustrating. It feels like the parts are there, but they're not working together. Part of the blame has to fall on coaching. When you hear the word disjointed getting thrown around over and over to describe this defense, it's not just about players missing tackles or being out of position. It's about an entire unit not functioning as one. The spacing is off. The communication isn't clean. And in today's NFL, that half second of hesitation or confusion is all it takes for a wide receiver to get behind you or for a tight end to slip into the soft spot of the zone. These aren't just breakdowns, they're symptoms of something deeper, and that's where the coaching staff needs to step up. Now, Bobby Babich is in a tough spot. He took over this defense in a transitional year and hasn't had a fully healthy unit since. Last year, the Bills were held together with duct tape on that side of the ball, and this year has started off similarly. You're trying to evaluate a guy's impact as a defensive coordinator when he hasn't had his full chessboard available, and that's tricky. Still, at some point, you need to ask if the scheme is maximizing the talent. Are they adjusting well? Are they anticipating opponents or just reacting? That's what separates great defensive minds from average ones. And so far, the returns have been mixed at best. If we're being honest, the defense has felt like it's been stuck in second gear for over a season now. There have been flashes, a game here or a quarter there where everything clicks. But those moments are too rare, and more often than not, you're left with a defense that feels a step behind. Whether it's poor zone integrity, soft coverage on third down, or an inability to close out late in games, the unit just hasn't consistently delivered. And again, you can point to injuries. Losing Matt Milano hurts. Not having Ed Oliver for a few games hurts. Dorian Williams going down, Dorian Strong out with a neck issue, all of it matters. But at some point, the standard has to be the standard. The Bills have said time and time again that they want to be a championship-caliber defense. If that's true, then depth has to rise, and coaching has to elevate whoever's on the field. One player who's quietly kept this thing from completely unraveling is Cole Bishop. His presence in the run game, his downhill speed, his willingness to be physical, those are things that have popped on film. He's not perfect. He's still learning, still taking a few bad angles, still figuring out how to process quickly in coverage. But you can live with rookie mistakes when the energy and instincts are there. Bishop is playing like a guy who's hungry to prove himself. And right now, that's more than can be said for a few veterans in that locker room. That said, Buffalo can't put it all on a rookie. Someone else has to step up. Christian Benford needs to find his form again. Taylor Rapp has to be better. Taron Johnson can't just be serviceable. He has to be a playmaker. And the coaching staff? They need to stop waiting for things to magically correct themselves and start taking bold steps. Whether that means more rotation, dialing up pressure, or simplifying the coverages so guys can play fast again, something has to give. And look, help might be on the way. The return of Maxwell Hairston could be a massive shift. But let's not pretend that's a plug-and-play situation. This is a rookie who hasn't practiced since July. It's not like you can throw him out there and expect him to lock down opposing wideouts on Monday Night Football. He's going to need a ramp-up period. He's going to need reps. So if the plan is to platoon him and slowly get his feet wet while easing the load on Trey White, that's probably the smartest path forward. But again, that takes time. The problem is, time isn't really a luxury in the NFL, especially not in October with a tough stretch of games coming up. Injuries have forced the Bills into survival mode, and it's showing. But not all of the problems can be pinned on health. Some of this is execution. Some of it is mentality. And some of it is just plain urgency. This is the part of the season where teams either lock in or start to fall apart. And right now, Buffalo's secondary is at a crossroads. They've got the potential to be solid. But the miscommunication, the hesitancy, the missed opportunities, it's holding them back from being great. And the longer it takes to fix, the more it puts pressure on the offense to carry the load. Josh Allen can cover a lot of flaws. But asking him to play hero ball every week while the defense bends and breaks is a risky game. The margin for error in this league is razor thin, and if this secondary doesn't start clicking soon, it's going to cost the Bills when it matters most. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. Whispers in the NFL corridors are heating up after the shocking announcement that Justin Simmons has officially joined the Buffalo Bills. While the team's front office has confirmed the signing, the real story is unfolding in the minds of fans and pundits alike. How will one of the league's premier safeties reshape a Bills secondary that's already been under intense scrutiny? Simmons, known for his intelligence on the field and uncanny ability to read quarterbacks like an open book, instantly changes the defensive landscape. Buffalo's secondary, which has had flashes of brilliance but also moments of vulnerability, suddenly looks like it could climb to elite status. The buzz around Orchard Park is palpable. Can the pairing of Simmons with existing talents like Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer create a shutdown defensive backfield? Or will the chemistry take time to develop? Sources close to the team suggest the excitement is matched only by a hint of uncertainty. Rumors suggest that locker room dynamics could be a factor. Simmons has a reputation not just as a playmaker, but as a leader who demands excellence. Coaches are reportedly thrilled, but insiders whisper that the existing secondary will have to adapt quickly to his style. This isn't just a new signing. It's a potential culture shift. Analysts are already speculating on how defensive coordinators will adjust. Will Simmons roam freely, reading plays and directing coverage, or will he be tethered to specific schemes to maximize his impact? The debate is raging in sports circles, and social media is aflame with speculation. Even more intriguing are the ripple effects across the AFC. Rivals in the Bills division are quietly revisiting game plans. The presence of Simmons may force teams to rethink aerial attacks entirely, perhaps limiting the effectiveness of previously reliable passing games. Meanwhile, fans are buzzing over one question. Does this finally push Buffalo into true Super Bowl contention? Or is it simply another bold move that, while headline-grabbing, may take time to translate into tangible victories? Whatever the outcome, one thing is clear. The NFL just got a little noisier. With Justin Simmons in Buffalo, the secondary isn't just a position group. It's a storyline, a talking point, and for now, the hottest rumor in football. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.